Hey guys, Andy and Spoken Label back in the house, part two. We have the fantastic Trystan Lewis with us. I've had a really good chat with Trystan today, and we've just been chatting for 20 minutes off mic as well. So I'm looking forward to his poetry. It's brilliant. Over to you, mate. Go for it.
Okay, so I'll read a poem. Shall I do that? So this one's called Michelangelo's David. Michelangelo's David, famous sculptor. Probably apocryphal, but so the story goes. A fellow asked a question to young Michelangelo. How did that lump of rock become this sculpture you created? Easy, he replied. I worked both day and night and chipped away at every grain that didn't look like David. With hammer and with chisel and with every single blow, a little cloud of dust descended to the floor below, until the floor was covered by all the bits I didn't value. And when they were swept away, everybody came to praise the beauty and the majesty of this most perfect statue. But I met another sculptor with a different technique. He would interrogate the rock to find the beauty underneath. And he'd question all the faults and he would question all the folds. And when in time that rock replied, he would listen to the stories that that block of marble told. And he said that every piece of stone has a character inside. And the sculptor's job is just to gently go in there and find it. And bring no preconceptions and bring no great demands. And not impose his own will, but to follow what the rock dictates and obey all its commands. Now, I've never held a chisel with artistic intent, just for cleaning up recovered bricks, breaking off the old cement. But I have been a sculptor, and I've been the sculpted too. You see, I've imposed my will on others and had others' will imposed on me. And as every parent of a child and child of parent knows, there are different kinds of hammer and different kinds of blows. Some sculptors see what should not be and must be chipped away, and others see what's right and good and help it on its way. Now I look at my own Davids, not at Michelangelo's, and I see their figures forming from their simple blocks of stone. And I ask myself the question, how is it they exist? And why do all the tools I use seem suddenly too heavy for this sculptor now to lift?
Fantastic stuff. Really. What I do like about your work, Trystan, like I said, for you said you rhyme it. What's good about it is your rhyming doesn't feel forced to me. I think that's a very, very key skill to have that when you're doing rhyming poetry, because when it's good, it really elevates it, and that really elevated that to me. So
yeah. So I mean, I'll tell you, I found this quote from someone called Tobias Wolff. I'll just read it here.
Please do, yeah.
A little quote here, which was, rhyme is bullshit. Rhyme says that everything works out in the end, all harmony and order. And when I see a rhyme in a poem, I know I'm going to be lied to. Go ahead, laugh. It's true. Rhyme's a complete bankrupt device. It's just wishful thinking. It's nostalgia. That's from Tobias Wolff, who's a great short story writer and novelist. And I'm thinking, I know what he's saying that, and da di 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 da. I get that, but on the other hand, I feel I'm lost without rhyme. I'm lost on a vertigo of I could do anything. I could jump off this cliff. I could do anything. Where rhyme keeps me anchored, and rhythm keeps me anchored. It's like I don't know how I feel uncomfortable without it, and I don't think I'm selling, as he said, a happy ending there. I'm just saying something I need to say about the nature of being a parent in that case. I'm saying that we might have preconceptions about what's like, what you want, but there's something there inside it. And so, yeah, it rhymes because I need that structure, but I'm not trying to sugarcoat anything there.
No, you're not. I mean, that's really good. Excellent piece indeed, mate. No, I've really enjoyed that. I think it shows because your experience as a teacher was your delivery then, because it was really engaging as well. You had me hooked right from the beginning. That would be so great stuff, man. Anyway, listen,
Yeah.
we'll be here all night, so and I hate to rush people along, but I want to
No,
say I
no
want to hear
worries.
more. So let's go for number 2, mate. Okay, back to you for number 2, buddy.
Okay, so this one's about just like a moment in time. It's like a moment in time, and it describes a moment, a slightly negative moment, but it's there. And again, there's something funny about the rhyme, and there's something funny about the structure. But here we go. It's called Walking West. If you're walking west of an evening when the roads are wet and the sun is streaming down and reflecting off the tarmac and paving till it suddenly sets, leaving nothing but the craving for the light to return, even though it was blinding, at least it was something that reminded you of home. And the brightness of the sunlight and the sunlight reflected causes an ancient reflex to be resurrected and a tear to form in the corner of one eye and slowly fall, rolling down one side until a hand is raised, the right hand in this case, to wipe that single tear away. And then the sun being gone and the sudden absence of anything warm brings a wave of sadness and deep regret for all of your actions. And that, combined with the cold wind, inadequate clothing, shoes with holes in, causes a shivering. What were you thinking going out in this? Where are your friends? Where's your brother? Where's your family? Where's your lover now? Where's the people who care if you swim or drown? What decisions led to this place? What mistakes? Can you count them? Can you rank them? Small to great? If you're walking west of an evening when the roads are wet and the sun that was shining is gone, anybody walking east down the same street at the same point in time might think you were crying. And you couldn't prove them wrong.
Ending. God almighty, that just aches of an end just to that ending. God almighty, mate. You miserable? Yeah, right. No, we knew you worked really well on that one then. I thought the ending of that, oh God. Was that how did that point come together for you structure wise? Was that quite an easy to get it towards the work towards that ending?
No, well, I've had this line: if you're walking west of an evening when the roads are wet and the sun is streaming down. And I almost had that. I mean, I've had that line I've had for a long time. If you're walking west of an evening when the roads are wet and the sun is streaming, almost a song. And then it never coalesced into something. It never quite became what I wanted it to be. And then just those, we've all had those times when you're walking and it's all a bit shitty and you're walking down and there's it's been hammering down all day and the sun's come in and it's just coming out, but everything, the day's already lost. And it's just try to get that moment, which is a different thing. Quite often I'm on quite an kind of making an argument like that one about the sculpture, like you're creating I'm putting a philosophical argument together somehow. But this is just trying to capture that moment. That's what that one's about. Yeah.
So really, it does. It's one that I think it really reflects the moment itself. You definitely right. That's brilliant. So anyway, people wondering we did agree on 3 poems. So let's have the big finale.
Okay. So I'm just going to do one which is one of my favorites, and it's just a little poem about poetry, I suppose. It's called A New Anthology. If you read the Faber and the nation's favourite anthologies of poetry enough, you might wonder if there's something fundamentally amiss in the way that we've been writing about love. And you might begin to fear that the poets down the years have not been honest in their sonnets of romance, and the truth about love has been covered up and smothered by those poets in their art and subtle craft. Take 1 Corinthians 13, you know the one I mean, because it's read at every wedding in the land. And you can even purchase bedding with those verses printed on it in a font that looks a lot like Comic Sans. Love is patient, love is kind, without envy, without pride. No one in their right mind could fault all that. But if you're selling a perfection that transcends all comprehension, then somebody might want their money back. Take Elizabeth Barrett Browning's Sonnet 43. There's nothing there to disagree with, not really. But that tears of all my life thing seems a little frightening. And that line just at the end, I love thee better after death, it's maybe not that helpful to a hypothetical young couple who is simply trying to do the best they can. Oh, let me count the ways that love might falter, love might fade, or fall a little short of an ideal. By setting expectations of relationships so high, aren't we really setting people up to fail? Take Shakespeare's Sonnet 116. That's even more extreme. Love never changes, never fades. It has no flaws. And what is more, if your love fails to make that score, then it wasn't love at all. The marriage of true minds, as Shakespeare has defined it, either perfect or not worth it, leaving little room for learning, little room for the imperfect people that we are. And imperfect as we are, our love's imperfect too. And that includes your love for me and my sweet love for you. Not pure, not divine, not sacred, not sublime. And that's just fine, because perhaps one day we'll find a love we recognize, described, with all hyperbole put aside, in a beautiful new anthology of life.
Yeah, great ending that one there. Really, I think it's a really good way of wrapping the session up there, because I think the three pieces you've done, Trystan, all been quite radically different, actually. Your delivery and also your style. So that shows how your brain thinks in very different ways in each piece to piece now. Excellent stuff, mate.
Not that. I don't know if they are. I think maybe there's still quite a lot of da-di-da-di-da, a lot of iambic kind of heptameter and so on. It is if
I'm looking at the content as much as all the rhythm.
It's all a bit da-di-da. I know that, but you know.
Okay, we'll put it down to your charm and good looks, mate. That pulls it off then, if that's the case.
Yeah.
Anyway, listen, mate, I want to thank you tonight anyway. So hang around, because I do need to talk to you off microphone anyway for a few moments anyway. But it's been a pleasure, mate. And
Absolute joy to talk to you, man. It's so nice.
Yeah, it's like people are wondering when I do this sort of podcast. We've met, what, 3 times, is it?
Yeah, 3 or 4. Yeah,
4 times.
Word Central as well. I bumped into you there as well.
We did, yeah. And that's where we met you. I met you 3 times speakeasy, once at Word Central. I had a quick word. It's great because people wonder, you don't necessarily know each other when you do these podcasts. And I've really come to got to know you tonight, mate. So I've fully enjoyed this tonight. As I said, to conclude, I'd love to have you back on again, mate. If you get anything really big going project-wise, give me a nudge.
I'll let you know what's going on,
And otherwise, I hope
to get down again to Chorlton cum Hardy pretty soon. I don't know. The next few months are looking pretty busy, but yeah, I mean, you create such a lovely place there. And I've talked to other people who go there, and everyone wants to go as often as they can. It's just we all get busy, but
life gets in the way, mate. That's what we're trying to do. We're trying to do it at a night where there's no egos, just good writing. So that's the best way. Right, listen, mate. Anyway, we'll talk more off mic in a minute. Anyway, guys and girls, that's it for another episode of Unspoken Label. As Don Callis over at AEW Wrestling says, and I do like this saying, so I use it all the time, stay safe and stay over. And we will see you all on the road next time.